It's Lori. Late night Lori. A little crooked here. I am coming to you. Lori's a little bit of crafting. I'm coming to you from Wisconsin. It's 12 a.m. All right. So between 11 p.m. and midnight, I try to get here. It's midnight. So we're going to count this as Tuesday, November 25th. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Coming to you live. And let me get my devices set up here. I've just been playing here because last night we played with some new product and it was suggested that we do some stenciling. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? Were you the one that wanted to stencil with the sunshine and tulips? I don't remember. I know somebody wanted to. So let's get our little announcements out of the way. Did you look, Bonnie? Did you look at the Black Friday sale? There's a lot of stuff that's selling out already. I'm not surprised because it was a lot of basics. Hello, Tanya. It was a lot of basics, adhesives, the re-ink bundles, the trimmer. If you don't have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, that is a smoking hot deal. I actually ordered one. I don't really need any. I mean, I have several trimmers, but when I do my classes, it's nice to have trimmers to go around. So I ordered another one because it was so inexpensive. And then, let's see, there were, the Stampin' Blends. So that's a really good deal too. So if you don't have the alcohol blends, the alcohol markers, they're on sale right now. All right. So some of the things are selling out. I know in our other markets like the South Pacific, they've sold out of a lot of things. So there are some people there that are really disappointed that there weren't more products available or in more quantities. So go check it out. See what you might be able to snag. That's going to go till December 1st. On December 1st, we also start the Cyber Monday prepaid paper pumpkin subscription sale. All right. So between December 1st and 9th, you're going to be able to save on your paper pumpkin prepaid subscriptions. The December kit will ship automatically when you purchase this. So if you are already a paper pumpkin subscriber, unless you want multiple kits, make sure that you suspend your current one so that you're not getting duplicates. Hopefully that makes sense. I do a month by month, so I don't buy the prepaid ones. In a week, one more week, we are starting this product of the month. Tanya, I am not aware that those products are going to be discontinued. So, or last chanced. If that's something they are going to do, I would be very surprised because, hey, Juju, adhesives were on sale. The adhesives are not going anywhere. Those are a staple. And MacMan's probably asleep, but I'll let him know you said hello. The trimmer, I have not heard anything, but that doesn't mean there's not something that's on the horizon. I have no idea. This trimmer has not been around that long, though. It's a relatively new product. So hopefully it'll stick around for a while because I just ordered another one. And the re-inkers, those are on sale with the Black Friday sale. And those are a staple as well. So I think it was just Stampin' Up! Has never done a Black Friday sale before. So I think this was something new that they were just trying to see what the response would be, and it was apparently pretty good. So in a week, this product of the month starts. I haven't seen what the product is going to be. I believe it's going to be a pack of designer series paper this first month. It could be a stamp set, it could be embellishments, it could be designer series paper. But when you make a qualifying purchase, which is a $75 purchase in a single order, not including tax or shipping, you will be eligible to add to your cart for an additional $5 this product of the month. All right. You can get one product of the month. So there's a limit of one product of the month. Hello, Bonnie. For each month. So let's say December, I didn't get it, but there were December products left over on January when I placed an order, and I wanted the December one and I wanted the January one. If I did two $75 orders, I could get one of each. But I can't get two of the December one, or I couldn't get five of the January one just because I kept putting in orders. Does that make sense? So there's a limit of one per person who's ordering for each individual month's product. Hopefully that's clear. But those extra products are just going to be $5 a piece. So I'm looking forward to see what that's going to be. And I have my hands on my new mini catalog. Fun stuff inside. As a reminder, we are not allowed to show anything inside of this catalog. We can only show the front cover until January 6th when this catalog goes live. All right. There is a mailing selector. So if you are interested in a catalog, if you want to create an online account with me, shoot me a message. Let me know that you want a catalog. I will try to get one mailed out to you. I need to know that by the end of the month. Okay. Are you saying yay to the new catalog, Juju? There's some fun stuff in here. Yeah. There's so much in here. And we'll have online exclusives as well. Now, I also, even though we've not been playing with this now because we played with it so much, I used up a lot of the stuff, but I still have some things left. I need to go and play with this some more, I think. But this would make a great Christmas gift, and that's what it was intended to be. This 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. So if you give it as a Christmas gift, let's say you give it on December 25th, the 12 days after Christmas is what the 12 days of Advent are, I guess. I kind of read the stuff about it. I never grew up celebrating days after Christmas or St. Nick's Day, which I think is what, December 5th maybe? We just did Christmas lands on Christmas, and it is what it is. But the 12 days of Christmas would then start after Christmas. So the idea is you give this as a Christmas gift. It would make a beautiful gift. That's why it's decorated for Christmas. And all of these are gifts for the 12 days. So the first day, you open it up and you get the dies. The second day, so that would be like the 26th. The 27th, you would open it up and, or the 25th, I don't know. I'd have to look at it. So then the next day you open this. So Bonnie, the only thing you do after Christmas is leave your tree up until January 6th on Three Kings Day. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of Three Kings Day either. I was raised in, sometimes we went to church and sometimes we didn't. But we didn't do any of that. It was just, yeah, it was all Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So anyway, then your person would go through, whoever you're gifting this to, would go through, and then for the 12 days after Christmas, and it ends on, what, like January 5th or 6th then, probably, right? 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4. Somewhere in January, first week of January, they would get through all of their 12. And that's why these are all occasion components inside the calendar. All right. So don't forget about this. This would make a great gift for any of your crafting friends or family. And if you're a demonstrator, you get a discount on it. So yes, it is kind of an expensive collection. Oh, okay. So that's a Mexican holiday. Interesting. Okay. So if you're a demonstrator, whether you're a hobby demo or a community coach or a business builder or whatever, you would get your discount. So whatever your discount eligibility is. So let's go ahead and put that away and kind of get down to business because I've had a headache all day long. MacMan and I were putzing around this morning, and then we started doing a whole bunch of errands. And then I got home and I wasted time reading like articles, not anything, not like a novel or anything. So that's all right. They can have a party for everything, right? The what's the 16-year coming out party or whatever for the girls? I don't know what that's called. It's like it starts with a C though, right? So anyway, hi Yuda, welcome. So all my quickie announcements I think are done for now. Product of the month. Oh, I know. With the product of the month, you need to make sure, excuse me, that you have quinceanero, something like that, right? Okay. Yeah. It starts with a Q, not a C. Whoops. But there's a C in it. So I was close. You can tell I'm Swedish, right? So anyway, with the product of the month, in order to get it, you do have to have an online customer account. Make sure, or if you have customers that are ordering from you, make sure that your people have a customer account set up, and then make sure too to remind them to opt in for Stampin' Rewards so that every purchase that's at least $20, they're earning rewards back to use on a future purchase. All right. Now, I think that's the end of my little announcements. So yesterday we played with this new Sunshine and Tulips photopolymer stamps dies. I love this new packaging. I love it that it's the same size package between the dies and the stamps. I have seen several other demonstrators indicating that they are taking the bundle and they're putting them all in one envelope. So I don't know if they put like the stamp page on one side and then the die page on the back side, but they put them all in the same envelope. Oh, it's when they're 15, not 16. All right. Whoops. Thank you. I knew it was somewhere when they were teenagers. But I knew it wasn't when they turned 13. So there's a lot of different ways to store these, but I will continue to probably store mine in the separate packages just because that's how they come and that's kind of how I'll probably do it. But I did, I know, Bonnie, you're not a fan of the packaging. I know Linda from out west that's watched, she's come on here with us too, Fifi. She doesn't like the new packaging either because all of the storage that she has in her crafting space was custom done for like the CD cases, the DVD size cases. So I can understand that that's a frustration to people. So I did take my photopolymer stamp set. I did ink it up and I just used copier paper. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And I just put a little piece of tape on there and that holds it in place. I did seal across here and I just put it on there with the seal. I don't feel like I have to secure it down all over. It doesn't have to be super pretty. It just has to show me where my stamps are going to go when I'm done. Like here. So this has got good days ahead. So then I can see, do I have all my stamps? Oh no, I'm missing 4 of them. I thought I was only missing 3 or whatever. That's how I'm going to take care of mine. And since that's there, I may as well just leave it there for right now. That's cheap not to put the picture on there. They cut a lot of corners, but the price. So, you know, what we all have to remember is that it's not just Stampin' Up! That's putting the prices on things. They have to, like, they don't make these envelopes. So wherever they're getting their envelopes from, if they're raising their prices, Stampin' Up! Has to raise theirs. I mean, it's all this trickle up and trickle down effect, right? And I know, like, giving us the, like they used to stamp or print all the images on here so that it was permanent. So you could see where you had to place them when you had this hard piece in here. That used to be printed with the images, right? Well, then they changed it, and I don't know if they got a lot of feedback where people thought, well, I just want to stick mine to the inside of my case. So then, this is not one of them. Let me see if I can find one, like here. They started printing it on the inside of the label, so you could see where your stuff had to go. And the idea was take it off of the hard sheet and stick it on your case, and then this piece would go right over that. I didn't like that because I don't like putting my stamps on here because they don't stick as well. And then my photopolymer stamps are coming off, and then I'm maybe losing them. So I keep mine on the regular pack, and then I still line it up where I, can see it. So the paper pumpkin kits, it was the same thing. They used to print it right on that hard piece of acetate. They stopped printing that. And of course, we see this little piece of plastic basically. Oh, that doesn't take that much ink. Well, when you think of the thousands that they're producing, that's all, it's all part of the process. And if you've got some people that use it and some people don't, how do you make everybody happy? You really can't. And then with the paper pumpkin kits, they started giving us the paper insert instead of printing it on the plastic. So I'm thinking the process to get it printed on the plastic was probably getting too costly. Or maybe they didn't print those in-house. Maybe they printed that someplace else. And maybe that supplier or that printer didn't want to do it anymore. There's things that I just don't know why they do them. But I always figure they must have some reason why they did. Factory also has to be tooled for printing. There you go, Yuta. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration when Stampin' Up! Makes some changes. So I know they're never happy to raise prices because they know it can affect their sales. But, everything. You go to the dollar store and there's hardly anything under $1.75 anymore. So what other business has raised their prices the percentage that like the dollar stores have? Can you imagine if the grocery store almost doubled their prices for everything? Can you imagine if Stampin' Up! Almost doubled their prices for everything without trying to take some other steps to control costs? I know they should just leave it the way we like it. I know, I get it. But I try to just keep an open mind and go with the flow because I'm just little old me and I can't make them change anything, So I can put suggestions in the suggestion box, but that's about all any of us can do as demonstrators. So now I messed up my other thing from last night. So I understand there is a lot of frustration and I get it. And there are things that I'm not happy about either, but I just know that it's probably for a reason, kind of like my mother when I was growing up, because I said so. I just have to trust that they're doing it with the best business model in mind, All right, so here is the card we did last night that I did not finish today. You're going to call after work tomorrow. You go get them, Bonnie. You tell them. Give them what for. Let me know how that works out for you. And I'm not trying to make light of it, but what else can we do, right? So here is the card we did last night, or last time, yesterday morning, whenever it was. And I didn't put it all together, but I did make my last flower to fill in that spot. And then I think that's about all I did. All right. So here's a card from last night. So this is a product that's out of the new mini catalog that comes out January 6th. I thought this was adorable. Okay. So I'm going to put this over where hopefully it won't get too messed up, and I will try to finish that tomorrow. I'm meeting a friend in the morning to go exercise, and then let's see. You say that every day to your client. She tells you I'm going to have a talk with my son and tell him this and let her know how that works out for you. Yeah, right. That's fun. All right. You got to keep your sense of humor. Oh, here's another piece that I needed for those leaves. I wondered where that went. There it is. All right. So I love the tulips. I think they're adorable. So let's play around and see what kind of different things we can do with those tulips, right? Oh, I guess I can get rid of gingerbread guy because we're not doing anything with gingerbread guy. All right. So I do love that the dies come with the artwork on here. We never used to have that. So I think that's at least an improvement that most people can agree with is helpful. All right. So I thought we would play with this a little bit. And this turtly cute, yeah, turtly cute designer series paper is truly not one of my favorites. I am not a fan of this almost obscene looking turtle. We're grown-ups here, right? I wish I could like steal Juju's opening to her crafting on the back 40 stuff where she talks about, you know, we're adults and we might swear and whatever. So he just looks a little obscene to me. When I saw this paper last year, well, it would have been March of this year. They were showing us this turtly sweet or this turtly cute paper. And the stamp set, if you can imagine this turtle in a black and white stamp with none of the other color on there. And just look at his head. It's just not right. So there were a lot of giggles with how the turtle looked. So I've had a hard time working with this as the turtle. But when you cut them out and make, I mean, my granddaughter and I made a couple of cute ones using some of these scene, not obscene, but these scene sheets they came with. And we, you know, there's a turtle that was barbecuing. So we did some of that. But we're going to use the back sides because I need to use up some of this paper. All right. So I cut a few pieces, but I thought we could play with a couple of different things. All right. So I have some ideas, but you guys can help me figure out. You would file it under G for garbage. Is that what the G would stand for? I can't waste that much paper. I didn't have to buy it, but I like to have some of the paper so people can see it and so that I can stretch myself, because sometimes it's a good thing just to work with something that you're not sure what to do with. I do like the backs very much, which is why I decided I'm going to go ahead and get it. So some of the backs are really, really cute. So you've got the polka dots. You've got the crushed curry musical instruments. Hopefully you can tell that that's what that is. It's musical instruments all over there. And then the beehives, and it had these cards on it, more polka dots. This stripy one I really liked. And that's like tortoise shell. That one didn't thrill me, but I'll figure out something to do with it. More kind of tortoise shell, but that could almost be made into like a mossy path or something. Does somebody want this? Does anybody do fairy kind of stuff? That might be fun for like a little fairy thing. Let me know if you want the little green design from Turtly Cute. And then this stripe one I thought was cute too. Yeah, definitely if you can see the backs. That's why it's important to kind of look in the catalog and online and look at all of the designs, not just what's considered to be the A side or the front, because a lot of times there are papers that it's like, oof, I don't like that one. But then when I look at the backs, oh, that's adorable. So we're just going to do a little bit of playing here. You want to know who drew that turtle and told them to put it on the paper in the first place? I know, right? Oh, yes, there were a lot of Snickers. Could you see how, like, he's got like a little wrinkly neck in here, and it kind of like the butt paper, right? The Tata and the butt paper. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side. And we're going to do some playing because somebody last time said, let's do some stenciling with this, right? So with this die. All right, so here's the dies. All right, and I opened up my little magnet sheet and I added the magnets on here. So we've got the tulips that make the little outline pieces, the leaves. Yes, this makes the leaves with an outline, and this makes the leaves with just the inside. All right. And then this makes the tulips that have the raised leaves that don't actually cut all the way through. All right. So those are kind of fun. So I cut a window sheet with the die. All right. Because I wanted to see, well, what would it be like to create kind of my own stencil? And I did that with this card I've shown you folks before when I went to a 35 for 35 celebration when a couple years ago when Stampin' Up! Was doing their 35th anniversary year. There was a punch, and I made a stencil or a mask on acetate, and that's how I made this card. All right, so I used both pieces of the stencil. So the cutout piece I did here, and I blended around it, and then this one I used the outside and I blended on the inside. So I have used dies to create my own stencils in the past. All right, so this one, I started playing with it just because I wanted to see what the colors would look like. And I also took the stamps. So here's the tulip and the leaves. Hopefully you can see the leaves okay. And I thought we might use this one that's got the 5 tulips across, but we'll see. So I did this with Daffodil Delight. So all I did was I took my little stencil piece and I put the Post-it, the sticky notes, on the very top edge of my stencil because the tulips come pretty close to the edge and that cuts out the whole thing. So there's not an easy way to not have your stencil small, right? So I'm just using Post-it notes, all right? And then all I did was ink it up and start blending on there. And I can wipe off this sheet and use it over and over and over again, right? So let's just move this out of the way. And I can do another one if you want to see it done, but I figure you know how that works, right? You know the idea of the ink blending with the stencil. So then I took the old olive and I just stamped some leaves on there. The only thing that this doesn't have now is the little stems, because on the die, it does make a little slit for the stem. So I'm just afraid if I use the marker, the bullet tip of my blends, that it's going to be super thick and it'll be super wide. Let me go get that. And a journaling pen has the great tip for it. Let me pull out my, oh, it's right here. So the journaling pen has a nice very fine tip, and that would be perfect, except I don't want black on there, right? Because that is super dark. But if I use this, I guess that wouldn't be too bad if I used a light touch. I'm afraid. Yeah, I need to, I'm probably going to redo this. So I don't know, maybe this would work fine. Maybe I should go from the bottom and go up and lift. That might be better. So I guess those look all right. Or just leave the stems off, Yuda. I think the stems do kind of give it a little something. It grounds the flower tip. So, you know, use your imagination. And I suppose there's probably some stamp set I have somewhere that has a narrow line on it. I mean, I know I have them. But at any rate, that's what I did with this. And then this could be cut down and just put on a card base. So let me close this up for right now. Let me get like a piece of old olive or garden green. Okay, and I'm just going to cut these down so that we have a good visual here. So we'll score it 4 1/4. Cut it 5 1/2. It is super windy here. I believe our winter is arriving now. It's super windy. It's supposed to get pretty cold tonight. Luckily, my chickens have a nice house, and they were pretty. Their coop was still pretty warm tonight when I went in. Oh, and this I have to trim down a little bit because this I think is 4 1/4. So I'm just going to take an 1/8 inch off of each edge because it's pretty well centered. And I don't want to use the die to cut it out because then it's going to cut out all my flowers. Although I had considered that too. And then putting some of the flowers like up on dimensionals. So some were up and some were low. But I also, and I don't know if you can see, but I stamped on some of these flowers with the tulip head, right? So this is the same color, Daffodil Delight, that I blended with, but now, and I can't put my head over this, so it's kind of hard to see. Hopefully I'm lining them up pretty good. Looks like it, for the most part. This is just my prototype. I'll do prettier ones later, I guess. Not too bad. You'll do better just because you can look at it. But that just gives some extra oomph to those tulips. So now they have even more like texture to them. So there's another piece that does that middle petal as well, but I didn't use that one separately. All right. So this then could go right on here. And you could put it on dimensionals or not, or I could even trim it down a little bit further and put another like Daffodil Delight. That would probably be cute. me to clear out some of my scrappy pieces. And then we're going to go, let's trim this down a little bit further here. I don't want to trim too much off at a time because I can't put it back on. Alright, and then we'll trim this down. So let's see where I'm at here. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. So if I go by 4 by 5 1/4, we'll be good. So once I started playing with this a little bit more, like with the ink blending, I started to get a bunch of different ideas. So this could go here, and that could be there. And even that yellow layer, that Daffodil Delight layer, could be a little more narrow. And then you'd see more of the old olive. So that's the old olive, or you could do a garden green, and that gives it a little bit more pop even. And then a cute little sentiment. So if we do garden green, sending you a garden of love. And I should get my Stampin' Pearson mat, but I didn't. So we could put this on here and find some fun ribbon. Do you like the darker green or the lighter green? And then with this, we would almost, let's see if I can pull this off a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of yellow, the Daffodil Delight, and then we're going to do a little bit of the old olive, and I'm going to just put that right across. Let me move this up a little bit more here. Well, I guess I'm still zoomed in a little bit, maybe much. So all I did with this, because you probably couldn't see, is I tapped the flower part on my Daffodil Delight, and then I tapped the leaf part on the old olive. And we are going to stamp that on here and see how it looks. Oh. Maybe I should put some twine across there because I didn't get quite enough color. I guess I should put the Daffodil Delight on the whole piece and then add the old olive. Let's see if I can get this lined up again. Probably not, but you never know. Actually, I did get it lined up. Woohoo! Now there's a little bit of green on the bottom of the tulip. I'm not going to worry about that a whole lot. So did we like the garden green as the base or the old olive as the base? And I think I need to trim this Daffodil Delight just a little bit smaller. Go, Lori, go. Yeah. You're all kind of quiet tonight. All right, so I kind of like the old olive, but this got a little darker because I did it twice. I re-inked. And then, you know, we could put a piece of, what ribbons do I have? Ooh. Let's try this. Oh, I could do old olive. We could wrap this in twine too. Let's just try a few things and see. So we could do twine on here. Let's scooch this down. So we could put twine on there and maybe a twine bow even. I think I'm going to try a double bow. Just wrap it around there twice. What do all of you use to make your bows? Do you have like a little bow maker like this, or do you just do it with your fingers? Oh, Juju, you finished your collage sheet, huh? Is Billy on that? So Juju, you just do yours with your fingers, huh? See, my problem is from my chemotherapy, sometimes I have some neuropathy issues. So, now that's kind of cute. What do you think of that? Just the book pages, okay. Cool. So sometimes it's just hard for me to, like, feel the twine in that, so it's easier for me to just use that bow maker. I've done it with a fork. And I've also done it with like a wide tooth comb kind of device that somebody had, somebody they knew did it on a 3D printer. He has a hat for every season, every holiday. I love it. All right, so there's the garden green. You'll have to let me know what you think of that. All right, so then I'm just going to do two tonight. I used the die and I cut out on old olive, and the die again is nice. Like I mentioned yesterday, it cuts out that whole edge. Let me back up a second. I used the acetate to create the stencil or the mask for this. I also tried doing it with the die itself. So I put the die on the paper and I did it with the Flirty Flamingo. The problem with this for me is that you don't get as sharp an image because the die has some thickness to it. But if we stamped on it, let me get my, pardon my reach. Let me clean these off. Flirty Flamingo. If we stamp the tulip parts on here, it might be fine. but I think we need to stamp off because those are really dark and then you can't see the center petal very much. So it kind of defeats the purpose of using the die as a stencil when you're going to add all this other color on here, right? So using the die as a stencil didn't work out for me very well, all right? But you do you. If you like that look, go for it, all right? So I used the die, I cut out the old olive, and then what I started doing is stamping the leaves on here. So this leaf image, I could stamp this on all of the leaves. Because when I tried to stamp them randomly, they're not straight, which flowers aren't straight. So I guess it didn't really bother me. But these, when you've got something to shoot for, it helps keep them a little more straight. And then what I thought I would do is, originally, I had a piece of designer series paper. I probably put it back in our Turtly Cute. Here we go. Found it. And I thought what I could do is turn this into a fun card this way and just have the designer series paper make the flowers. Don't know if that's a good look or not. The polka dots might be a bit much. So I thought I would change my approach because that was a lot for me to take in. But I did like how this looked. So I cut a bunch of these strips. Yeah, a bit trippy. Yeah, it's probably a good way to describe it. So I love it with these little flowers. But I also thought it might be cute with the stripes or more stripes. And I had another piece. I had another piece of those somewhere. I may have to cut another one. I probably scooped it up when I was getting rid of some of the other pieces here. There we go. Found that one too. So I thought that would be kind of fun. And again, we could make a layer. What if I did? Let me cut this one down, this petal pink. Bone folder. There we go. I'm not sure exactly where those need to be. Well, that was pretty darn close. So I don't know if I like the petal pink. Do you like those, the flowers and the stripes on here? Because I could just attach those. Does that work? see. Let me get a silicone mat. And I'm just going to start putting some seal here and try not to get over the edge too much. I suppose it would probably have worked out better if I'd have just gone that way, but it is what it is. Because some of the edges went over. I'm just pushing back. It'll be fine. You might not even be able to see that. But if the tape goes over the edge, just fold it back on itself. It's fine. I don't stress over that too much. All right, so let's go ahead and put this one over here. This one over here. And then this one I'm going to trim down a little bit. And we'll put a little bit more here since this is going to be a loose piece. That'll work. All right. So I don't think it works on the balmy blue because there's not enough blue coming out of here. The petal pink could work because there's some pink in there. But maybe just tone on tone for this one, or maybe we should take this one back to the old olive and put this one. Oh, I don't think I like that either. So I think that might work. Because this is actually the two-tone cardstock. So this is actually a lighter shade of the old olive, so that might really work. Oh, that had adhesive on the other side. All right, so I had also pulled out this ribbon, this mossy. I think that would be prettier with that one. So let's take this twine off of here and add it to this card. And let's put this on this card. And then I like to, with my ribbon, just put a little bit of tear and tape, if I can find the end. There it is. Just to kind of secure that down. I don't want it coming undone, right? And then let's put some dimensionals around this. Oh, I guess I need to glue it to this first, don't I? Yeah, that needs to get glued there first. Now we can put those on. All right, and this, I can put some dimensionals here to raise this up a little bit. Where I placed my dimensionals here, if I put my sentiment there with dimensionals off to the side, it's not going to make it any thicker for postage. So that can go over there. So I've got dimensionals here and then dimensionals here. And then that'll go there. Let's see about doing a little knot. I don't know if I like that. That looks kind of silly. So here's what I'm going to do. I should have made the knot before I attached it. Because then I have a technique to do that. I don't think I like that. Maybe we'll try a bow and see if that looks all right. Otherwise, I may just leave it like that. I keep forgetting that I'm zoomed in a little further and then I go off the camera, so I apologize for that. So that might be all right. That'll probably be all right. Get a couple of glue dots on there. And let's see if we can find some, a little bit of bling. Everybody's so quiet tonight. I was thinking back to the last time, and I was having so much fun with all my new stuff that came. I'm thinking, I was talking a mile a minute. That's kind of fun. And then let's see. Here we go. This is from the Perfectly Pair, Paperly Pair, Perfectly Pairs. I think these are still available. These are really flat. Usually I don't do my gems with my fingers, but they're really flat. I have not seen Fifi lately. I've not chatted with her lately either. I need to probably send her a message again. I did last week or the week before. I reached out to her because I hadn't seen her for a while. And she was fine. She just had some things going on, so. All right, let me get this ribbon put away. And I have not had the time to go to her Make It Monday for her private group. I always think of it too late. It's like, oh, I missed it. So that one's pretty cute. So let's go ahead and put this on here. And tear and tape. Why do I keep losing the end of this? That's weird. Oh, and I registered for On Stage today. Stampin' Up's big conference. I got glue on there. I need to clean that off. So do you think we need maybe a piece of white? Just a little border of a white layer, do you think? Might work. So if I go 4, 5 1/4, it should work. Let's see if that works. It is in Long Beach, California. And it runs basically Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday. And then I go the day before and then I leave the day after. Just because coming from Wisconsin, if I've got any flight delays or anything. Oh, that's a little too tight on the border there, Lori. Let me go get some more white. So if you're logged into your home page, the On Stage is on the banner, and you can see all of the information there. I'm just going to cut these down to workable sizes for me. And if we did 4 1/4, we'll go a little bit more. No. 4 1/4. I think that's right. We'll go down just a little bit. See if this works better. Well, that seems really big there, but I could probably take a smidge off. Let's take a smidge off. I think the white helps, but it's a little too much now, right? So I have gone to On Stage every year since I became a demonstrator, even though I was a hobby demonstrator to begin with. I like seeing, we get the brand new catalog we'll be getting the one that releases in May. And then we have a pre-order before everybody else has a pre-order, because if we go to the conference, that's one of the perks. And then there's an after-hour stamping event where we get a new bundle. You have to pay to play, but there, I think that works. And then I also need to get another label, don't I? But it's like any other conference, you know, you see demonstrations of the new product, you hear some of the backstories of how things were designed. There are demonstrators that will present with new products, things that they've come up with. It's a fun time. And there's literally thousands of people there. Okay, where did I put all of my dies? Here they are. So I have, this will be my 9th conference. All right. I'm going to use these for a shaker card, I think. So I've got the little tulip cutouts from my window sheet. And I think I'm going to, I don't know that I'll use them all in the same card, but I think I want to do that. Make a shaker card out of them. But one of the fun things too is throughout the event, Stampin' Up! Has what they call Prize Patrol. And that's always fun because you get a number. Well, you figure everybody there is my friend. It's all other demonstrators. So this is a demonstrator only event. And if you're not currently a demonstrator, you have to become one by the end of January to be eligible. But quite honestly, I don't know if there'll still be space at that point. All of the volunteer opportunities were already filled, and I was on the site like 2 minutes after. I had gotten to that part of my registration process about 2 minutes after registration opened. So it's a good time. Our last one was in Raleigh. That was a good time. And I'm going to do this in the garden green again, I think. So some years there are, we've had like maybe 6 people. And I would say that would be my team leader, so my upline, and like five of my sidelines, basically. This year it would be fun to have some people from my team go. Most of my team are hobbyists, and they have young children. How does that label look horizontal? It might be too tight. Let me stamp it and we'll see. Oh, it would fit. I keep going off screen. And there goes my plates. So not this, let me think. Not Raleigh. The one before that, where did we go? I ended up going on my own because nobody from my team or my uplines team went. So I had a couple of different teams that adopted me over the weekend. So I always had people that I could hang around with. And, you know, it gets to the point where when you go to the conferences and that often enough, there are people that you know. So 2 years ago when I went, I was sitting randomly somewhere and I was taking like a selfie with the crowd behind me. And in the selfie, somebody right behind me was somebody I knew, but I hadn't been looking around, or she had just sat down or something. And I'm like, oh, Julia. So that was funny. You know, small world. You're in this room with thousands of people, and just randomly you've got this acquaintance that comes up behind you and sits. That was funny. So yesterday's version, when we put it vertically, it covered 2 full flower sets that way. Okay. And then if we do this one horizontally, which I think is going to be a fun twist on it, that would cover 2 flowers that way because they're all equally spaced. So I think that might be a fun little twist on it. Now, I did apparently lose my twine bow. I was whipping stuff around. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. So that could go there. So let's put this up on some dimensionals. Oh, I guess I should glue it together first, huh? Do you like it horizontal? I think that's a nice change of pace. Now this one I have to be kind of careful because I do not have much of a border to play with. It's a very, very narrow border on the top and the bottom. It's a little wider on the sides. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it is what it is. And that's what it's going to be. All right, so if we do horizontal, should I try to stamp those little tulips on here or just use like a tulip head on there with the little bow? And then I could stamp some leaves on there. What do you think? It is very versatile. So I think I'm just going to put my dimensionals around the edges and then one here near the top, because when we put that sentiment on, it's going to go across here. And then here we can put dimensionals. I think I'll put them in the corners, all of the corners here, because that way it'll work around the twine that's already there. All right. That's pretty cute. Oh, I suppose I should have tried to stamp those leaves on there. I guess I'm just going to have to punch some out or die cut them out, because this can go there. I'll get my glue dots again. Make a little burrito. And that can go right up there. And then let's figure out what to do with our flowers. Maybe I should cut them out of some other designer series paper and just add the flower heads on there. What do you think? Two little tulip heads, or a tulip head and a pair of leaves. I think they both turned out pretty cute. Now I should probably get the gems for this card too, though. I accidentally put them away. And I think I'm going to use, I think I'll use the green ones again. That might be kind of high. We'll put 5 on this one, why not? So I think what I'll do is I'll stamp some petals on here. And let me stamp off, I think. That might be a little too light. I think I almost like it better without the stamping on it. We'll leave it plain. So if I put those on there, we'll call it a day. Just put that on there and call it a day. What do you think? Does that work? And maybe tomorrow I will do a shaker card. Let me pull in the one from last night. Whoops. Just what I was trying not to do. I'm going to try to get this one all put together tomorrow. We'll see how that works out for me. Kind of like Bonnie calling Stampin' Up! And giving them what for. There. That's pretty close. It'll work a lot better when I've got it all glued down. There. All right, so there we go. Think spring, right? We're not even into winter yet, but I'm ready for springtime. So that's all I got for you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. What do you think could have made them better? Oh, I guess I should put this back where it belongs. I just noticed it had flipped. Flipped where it didn't belong. I might have to try to tighten up that bow a little bit. Straighten out this wayward. There we go. There. That's better. Okay. Thanks, spring. We got sunshine and tulips. Thanks, Yuta. Thanks, Juju. Catch you next time. Bonnie, if you're still here. Tanya. I don't know if Tanya's still here. Oh, we had both the Bonnies here. I don't know which Bonnie might still be here. But thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I hope you like the cards. Show me what you can do with them when you get your new stuff if you order this. It'll be fun to see. Got a lot of possibilities. I still have a couple of more ideas, so we'll see how it goes. Enjoy the rest of your night or your day, and until next time, happy crafting.